Hi, my name is Beth, and the title of my paper is Watch Me Unravel, I'll Soon Be Naked, Stag Films on YouTube. What exactly is a stag film? The Oxford English Dictionary contains a number of definitions for the word stag, including the male of a deer, an animal castrated when full grown, a big romping girl, a bold woman, a man who attends a social function without a female partner, and finally, a pornographic film made for a male audience. This last definition of stag will be the central concern of this paper, although when it comes to YouTube, what a stag film is far from clear. Stag films, also known as blue movies, smokers, beavers, and coochie reels, can best be summed up as an illicit, relatively underground pornographic film genre popular from the beginning of the 20th century up to the 1970s. Linda Williams notes in her groundbreaking book, Hardcore, Power, Pleasure, and the Frenzy of the Visible, that a typical stag film, in addition to its explicit sexual content, is identifiable by its, quote, short length, usually filling a single reel or less, silence and lack of color, and frequent lack of narrative coherence, end quote. Williams discusses the rough nature of these films, pointing out the continued existence of primitive aspects, such as a lack of sound, long after the legitimate film industry had developed feature-length films with sound. It may come as a surprise that stag films exist on YouTube, given the organization's strict rules regarding nudity and sexual content. How then do we account for the abundance of videos claiming to be or to contain porn, vintage erotica, or stag footage? In this paper, I explore stag films on YouTube and the uses of the phrase stag film in particular. YouTube videographers appropriate this phrase for a number of reasons. First, the idea of a stag film, while not porn or pornography, may be enough to pique the curiosity of some viewers. The phrase can then be deployed as a way to beckon viewers to YouTube stag films, which can then be used to advertise products, websites, or simply other videos. Second, censorship rules make it difficult for actual footage from stag films to be uploaded and viewed, both causing and allowing videographers to take artistic liberties and furnish substitutions as they deem fit. And finally, nostalgia for a purer, more wholesome pornographic viewing experience inspires viewers and creators alike to construct their own stag film fantasies. Music and sound are essential to this appropriation process. I argue that strategic uses of sound have facilitated the development of a YouTube-specific genre of stag film, furnishing aural clues necessary for viewer-listener cognition and for the construction of new meanings provided by vintage soundtracks. Furthermore, I contend that this newly defined genre, while admittedly fluid and changing, is also tightly bound up with issues concerning censorship. To best understand the YouTube stag film, I begin with an explanation of the search parameters, how I went about making decisions, and what factors played a part in the collection of data. Next, I give a general overview of my search results, and finally I end with a close look at 2 YouTube stag films, with particular attention given to sound and music, in order to highlight the new genre in action. In December of 2009, when I conducted the research for this project, I quickly realized that YouTube contains a dearth of actual stag film footage. Nonetheless, I was curious about what sorts of videos I would find that were claiming to be stag films and how music factored in. Why would someone search for stag films on YouTube, and what might they hope to find? Who posts these videos, and what are their intentions? I began to experiment. My first keyword search for stag film turned up to 525 search results. Early stag films yielded 12, while vintage erotica brought in 380 videos. And you can take a look at the handout I provided to see more details about my search parameters. I decided to focus my search, so adopting Boolean logic, I enclosed stag film in quotation marks, which yielded 43 results. Not only was this a more manageable sample size, it also meant, I thought, that the videos appearing on the list would be more likely to be actual stag films. As will become evident below, this was not the case. In addition to the attempts of videographers to funnel traffic to their videos through the use of tags or keyword searches, YouTube's policies on obscenity are worth noting here. According to the YouTube community guidelines, and I quote, "We're not asking for the kind of respect reserved for nuns, the elderly, and brain surgeons. We mean don't abuse the site. Every cool new community feature on YouTube involves a certain level of trust. We trust you to be responsible, and millions of users respect that trust. Please be one of them. YouTube is not for pornography or sexually explicit content. If this describes your video, even if it's a video of yourself, don't post it on YouTube." End quote. Given these constraints, that a search for porn still generates 346,000 results is a bit perplexing. Some YouTube viewers are likely unaware of the censorship policies, or if they are, maybe teasers are enough to satisfy sexual appetites. Access may be another issue. Underage users may be blocked from YouTube's pornographic equivalent and younger sibling RedTube, and pay-per-view sites require the financial means to sign up. Regardless of what viewers' motivations are, and in spite of YouTube's obscenity rules and guidelines, videos claiming to contain sexually explicit content abound, and it seems that those making the videos are attempting to capitalize on the desires and inquisitiveness of their audience. So what's in it for them, the makers of these videos? In addition to guidelines regarding sexually explicit material, YouTube cautions videographers about using YouTube for marketing and advertising purposes. In some situations, however, such as uploading an original video to promote one's business or artwork, advertising is deemed accessible. The possibility exists then to utilize YouTube as a marketing tool free of charge, and this fact is not lost on users. Advertisements are everywhere on YouTube. It is quite common to see website addresses scrolling at the bottom of videos, the More Info tab used as an opportunity to describe one's business or to direct viewers to a business's website, and to find video content shaped either implicitly or explicitly into a commercial. But I would argue that the censored categories to which pornography, nudity, erotica, and the like belong are particularly ripe for consumer picking. These borderline policed areas are places where appropriation and redefinition of sex-related genres happens readily, both out of necessity, since you can't show the real thing, and as a strategy. For example, something masquerading as porn with the enticement of sexual images can serve as a way to advertise a business or service. Additionally, I propose that stag film as an even more fluid and oft misunderstood phrase than, say, porn or erotica. A vintage erotica search, for instance, turned up far greater real footage than did stag films. Thus, in addition to its banned sexual content, stag film is not as clearly defined, and this definitional slipperiness, in part, may explain why so many stag films on YouTube are not really stag films, and perhaps why commercial prospects find a home there.